This is what your Overwatch 2 support main says about you. First up is everyone's favorite grandmother, Ana. First, let me say this, you Ana mains are awesome, and I have a lot of respect for you, and overall you guys are pretty cool. However, once you land that sleep dart, you become a totally different person. Once you land a sleep dart on a target, it's demon time, and you become an absolute sadistic monster with only one thing on your mind, and that is pure destruction. Nobody else in that match, teammate or enemy, exists except you and that sleeping, helpless target. And oh boy, the sick things that go through your head. God would be ashamed of you. But at the same time, I can't blame you, because this is your only therapeutic way of getting out all that anger from having idiots for teammates. Because absolutely nothing makes you go more psychotic than throwing a nano on your blading Genji just to watch him get absolutely wrecked by a Lucio, because you would much rather nano boost the Mercy, because at least they'll get a kill or two instead of getting absolutely clapped by an acorn. And to end things off with a little bit of a positive note, you guys are my favorite support. Don't tell the Mercy mains I said that. Next up on the list is the swag daddy himself, Baptiste. And I'm gonna keep it real with a lot of you guys that play Baptiste. And don't take this as an insult, but you really just want to play hit scan DPS, but you don't really trust people to heal you, so you have a heal kit yourself. Am I wrong? Maybe. I'm not a Baptiste main myself, but there was a phase that I played Baptiste, back when DPS queues were a lot longer than support queues. But I will say this, you guys get tunnel vision and do a lot more damage than you probably should. Now, is that a bad thing? Not really, but sometimes you get a little too caught into it and forget that you actually have people on your team to heal. But in your mind, you don't have to heal anybody on your team if the enemy team is dead. So honestly, I can't really argue with that logic. Now, when it comes to personality of Baptiste mains, you guys are either really quiet, calm and collected to yourselves, or you say things to your teammates that may or may not put you in jail indefinitely. But nonetheless, I really appreciate you Baptiste mains, and I'm always excited to see one on my team. Now, the next support we're going to be going over is the great value brand Reinhardt mains themselves. I mean, Brigitte mains. And let me tell you guys, you are every support duo's best friend, and for good reason. You absolutely make sure that you watch over and protect your support duo. And if anybody, and I mean anybody, touches your Discord kitten, you are going to pop off. But there are a select few of you guys that do not do that at all, actually. You don't protect the other support. You take on role as the tank and 1v5 like it's Overwatch 1 Brig release. And you just can't do that anymore. But I will say, I have come across a lot of Brig mains out there that are terrifying. And nothing gets those toes curling like making the enemy team switch just to try to counter you. And yes, the Discord kitten thing was a joke, I promise. I love you, Brig mains. Now, the next support and the newest support, the sun goddess herself, Illari, or Illari, whatever the flip you call her, I don't even care. But for real, with Illari being so new, I can't really say a whole lot yet, but I will say this. You guys are kind of similar to the Bap mains in the sense that you really like to do damage, but at the same time, you don't trust other people to be your healer, so you do it yourself. But keeping your team alive is not a priority. Your priority is babysitting that healing pylon like it is your firstborn and only child. You would rather watch your entire team get backhanded than to watch the health bar on your healing pylon deplete by a single hit point. But at the same time, I cannot blame you. That thing is kind of busted, because without it, your teammates aren't getting any heals whatsoever, and you know it. Because the longer that healing pylon stays up, the more damage you can do with a clean conscience. And absolutely nothing gets you more excited than seeing the enemy team pile up when your ultimate's ready, because we all know what's going to happen at that point. Now, the next support we're going to be going over is the anime Homer Simpson, also known as Kiriko. And as a Kiriko main, there are two main things that really get you going. One, to get nice dinks with those kunai. And two, shutting people down with your Suzu. But like I've said in the past, you can't quite do those things. You want to do damage, but you can't do damage because your team is always on crit and you have to heal bot. Now, I'm not saying you should heal bot, but in some ranks, you have literally no choice but to heal bot because everybody and their mother is on crit all the time. But in those slight moments that everybody is full on health and doesn't need you to heal bot, you are absolutely free to wreak havoc on the enemy team. You'll teleport to whoever's closest to the enemy team just so you can get into the fight first, just so you can remind the enemy team that they should be absolutely thankful you have to heal bot for your team instead of being a DPS. Because as the saying goes, if you need something done, do it yourself. Now, following up Kiriko, we have the Wizard of Oz himself, Lifeweaver. And I'm not gonna lie, I'm starting to see a trend with you Lifeweaver mains. You guys were once Mercy mains that just had it, but instead of turning to the dark side and becoming a DPS TikTok Moira, you decided to main Lifeweaver instead. Because you still like to heal your team, and deep down inside you are a true support that wants to help their team. But now that the devs turned the Rizzler's damage up tenfold, you can finally start putting matters into your own hands. But most importantly, you Lifeweaver mains get so creative with your abilities. Like, just to think, a stupid pedal you put on the ground that lifts you into the air could be so useful in the right hands. And when everybody and their mother thought you guys were going to be trolls with your life grip, that ended up being your most overpowered ability yet. And Rhine mains all over the world are thanking you for helping them from charging off the edge of the map like they always do. So remember, you guys are the real MVP, even if some of you guys are kind of cheek. Now, next up is everybody's favorite Adderall taking DJ, Spotify Premium. And when it comes to Lucio mains on my team, I gotta say, I love you guys. But when you're on the enemy team, I want to curl up in a ball and cry. Because there's only one type of real Lucio main, and that's the Reddit Lucios. You can't be a Lucio main and not be a Reddit Lucio. I mean, you can, but there's no fun in that. Like, holy crap, some of you guys just need to chill out, I swear. Because you guys are absolutely nuts with your wall riding, and I just can't. I can't, man. And I know deep down inside, you take big pride over that. The more people miss shots on you, the better you feel. And if contesting a point was a person, you're that person. Whenever I go up against a really good Lucio main, I want to say no words, like some real gamer words. But one day I'm gonna find you guys and force feed you your kryptonite Adderall, and then and only then will you stop seeing noises and hearing colors. But as long as you're on my team, we're cool. Now it's time for the Discord kittens to get the spotlight. I mean, the Mercy mains. Yeah, the Mercy mains. But on a totally real note, I really do appreciate Mercy mains. And I mean that. But you guys are super bipolar, or at least you seem that way. Because one second you'll be all quiet and timid and don't say much and just tell your team. And then the next minute you're saying slurs that would put you in jail for 5 years. Now, part of that is because I understand your teammates may not be the smartest out there, and you feel like you're the babysitter of the team. And sometimes it really is like that. But there's also times where we don't need a Mercy. And I know some of you Mercy mains only play Mercy, but you do it very well. So I'm not complaining too much about it. Like, your movement with Super Jump and Guardian Angel are just absolutely insanity. Most of the time, if you play Mercy, you probably have a duo you always play with. Usually another support or a DPS that you pocket. And you guys work super well together. But some of you guys out there that made Mercy getting your butt carried and just don't want to admit it. But you probably higher rank than me anyway, so yeah, there's that. Now, on the complete opposite side of the spectrum from Mercy mains, we have the Moira mains. And kind of like the Lifeweaver mains, you were once probably a Mercy main that just freaking had it. But instead of going to the good side, you went to the dark side and became the very thing you sought to destroy. But like I've said before, if you want something done right, do it yourself. And you guys took that to heart. Not enough damage? Well, heck, just be a DPS. Not enough heals? Well, you have the capability of healing a ton too. Tank being kind of sucky recently? Heck, with your self-heal, you could be a tank too. Heck, is the enemy team contesting the point? Just whip out the old Kamehameha, and they'll either all run and hide off the point or die. But hey, nothing joys me more than having a good Moira main on my team, because I know I can just sit back and watch as you 1v5 and somehow kill everyone. And last but certainly not least, balls. So Zen mains are a bit special. You seem kind of cool at first, but 30 seconds into a team fight, you become an absolute terrorist that thrives on bloodshed. You give out Discord orbs like you're Oprah Winfrey and throwing kicks like Karate Kid. Healing? What the flip is that? You got better things to do, like burning down an orphanage or roundhouse kicking someone to the Ilios well, like it's Chuck Norris. You guys scare me, like a lot. Just look into those soulless eyes and tell me there's peace and tranquility. There's not. Only death, and more death. Because in your mind, it will be pretty peaceful and tranquil if there ain't nobody around. But hey, on a serious note, you Zen mains that can communicate who's got Discord and who to target, you guys are the real MVP. Like, for real. Even if you really are the most sadistic support in the game.